and welcome to Business Insight, the show that equips you with the necessary business information and also keeps you abreast with the latest market trends, opportunities, as well as challenges within your industry space. I'm your host, Adesua Iromosele, and I welcome you again to Business Insight. Today on Business Insight, we'll be discussing remittance and money transfer in microfinance. Remittance and money transfer in microfinance. And to begin with, let's give you a quick overview of the idea behind microfinancing. So microfinancing, also known as microcredit or microloan, is a financial service that provides small loans, savings account, and other financial products to individuals who typically lack access to traditional banking services. It aims to support entrepreneurship and alleviate poverty by empowering individuals to start or expand their own businesses. In microfinance, loans are typically provided to low-income individuals or groups, often without collateral or extensive credit history. These loans are used to finance income-generating activities such as small businesses, farming, or craft. Microfinance institutions play a crucial role in providing these financial services, and they often incorporate financial education and training to help borrowers manage their loans and provide and improve their businesses. Now, microfinance has been successful in empowering individuals, particularly women, and promoting economic development in many communities around the world. It also helps individuals build assets, generate income, and improve their overall quality of life. Today we are zooming in, like I said earlier, into remittance and money transfer. That is an aspect of microfinancing. And to help us make sense of it, we have a guest. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we will be introducing our guests and delving right into this conversation. Stay with us.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Sook News. If you're not watching Sook News, I pity you, but keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timmy Dakolo, and you're watching Sook News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Sook News. Guys, keep watching Sook News for everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news. Sook News is your station.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Sook News. If you're not watching Sook News, I pity you, but keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timidakolo and you're watching Sook News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Sook News. Guys, keep watching Sook News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, Sook News is your station.
Welcome back. You're still watching Business Insight, and we'll be discussing the topic remittance and money transfer in microfinance. And we have a guest who is joining us virtually. He is Ayo Bankole Akintujoye and is the founder and CEO of Caladium Consulting. Good morning, Mr. Ayo. Welcome to Business Insight.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Very well. Now, Mr. Ayo, give us a brief overview of what remittance and money transfer really entails. Are they the same or do they go hand in hand? Just give us an overview of what they mean.
Okay, thanks a lot. They are often used interchangeably, but money transfer really is when you are making transfers from one bank to another. Most times, one account to another. Most times within the same banking system, right? Remittance actually, on the other hand, is when they're transferring from one account to another banking system. So there are international remittances, there are local remittances. So if I remit from my account in Bank A into Sook's account in Bank B, then that's a remittance. If I move money from my account in Bank A to Sook's account, also in Bank A, that's a transfer, right? So, so even though they are used interchangeably, that's essentially the difference. So some banks or financial institutions are licensed to make international remittances. Some are licensed to make local remittances. Some are not licensed to receive monies at all, and they can only receive money on the backbone or infrastructure of licensed remittance organizations. So that's essentially the difference.
All right, Mr. Ayo. So what would you say are the key factors driving the growth of remittance and money transfer basically in the microfinance sector?
So the biggest factor really, I'm not sure it's key factor. I think it's one major factor. That's financial inclusion. A vast majority of Nigerians still do not have access to banking services. They keep money under their beds. They trade in cash. You go to remote locations, and one major occurrence in recent times that demonstrates this was the CBN policy under the last governor, Emefiele, the new banknotes policy. When they withdrew all cash within the system, you saw how people literally died, and that shows how heavily dependent our economy still is on cash. So far as people are heavily dependent on cash, it shows that they are still excluded from the remittance / money transfer system. One of the world's most cashless environments is Canada. Recently, a 10 Canadian dollar note went viral on the internet, and a lot of people, especially Nigerians, said they had never seen it before. And surprisingly, even Canadians, a lot of them said they had not used it before, because there's really no need to use cash, in Canada. But in Nigeria, on the other hand, because in Canadian, banking system, transfers, remittances works very efficiently and very swiftly. In Nigeria, on the other hand, whilst our banking, system has since matured with recapitalization, you realize that majority of our populace, both businesses and individuals, are still excluded from the formal banking system, i.e., the remittances and the transfer system. So we are unable to make transfers, payments, and all of that through these formal platforms. Rather, we rely on cash, right? So the problem that is to be solved in that space is still very large. And so far as it is very large, it shows opportunity, room for opportunity for payment switches, for payment for remittance gateways, and for transfer operators. Now, remember that I just described local. The problem internationally is even bigger. As a Nigerian, it's difficult for me to transfer money to somebody in India or in Europe or in the Americas. So that's another opportunity that technology companies and other platforms are seeking to solve.
So what would you say is the difference between transferring money through regular banks and transferring it through microfinance? What are the major differences?
So there's really no difference between transferring money through regular banks and microfinance. They are both licensed banks by the CBN. They are both licensed to hold deposits. And they are both licensed to transfer, right? Either to other banks or their own banks. However, I think where we tend to misconstrue some things is that some mobile money, some money lender institutions. So there are some micro lenders that are not microfinance banks. So there are different categories of lenders. We have the microfinance banks, we have the money lenders, right? And even in the money lender category, you have the units, you have the states. In the microfinance category, you have the unit, you have the state, you have the national. Now, if you are a money lender, you are not licensed to receive money or hold money. You are only licensed to lend money from your own reservoir or from your own cash reserve. However, because of technology, a lot of money lenders are seen or positioned as microfinance banks. And as a result of that, they receive money, or they are seen to receive money. And that was what happened recently when a piece of news item went viral that CBN revoked the licenses of some operators. There's nothing to revoke license about because they were never licensed in the first place. But what the general public see is that transfer is made to such an organization, but that's not the case. The case is that there are back-end account numbers that are provided to customers through which you can, when you make transfer to that account, it's seen as though you have transferred to this financial institution, right? But really, you are only transferring to another institution, which is either a microfinance bank or a commercial bank. But the front end is the lender. So there's really no difference between a microfinance bank and a commercial bank when it comes to ability to remit or ability to make transfers. What the difference is in lenders. So I think it's important that we distinguish the difference between micro lenders and microfinance banks.
Oh, very well. I'm actually glad you mentioned the issue of the CBN seeking to shut down microfinance institutions. What impact did such decision have on money transfer and remittances?
Okay, so I think that it was very important that the CBN comes forward to make those clarifications. A lot of times, because the finance space is super sensitive, the Nigerian market and Nigerian populace is still largely unsophisticated when it comes to financial instruments and institutions. So it is very crucial that the regulator constantly educates, the people so that we better understand what types of institutions exist, which ones are licensed to do what, and that can guide how we transact with them and how we remit our monies. Now, having said that, it is important that we know that the regulation or the announcement that was made by the CBN would not really affect remittances or transfers, because there are licenses issued to several of these large technology platforms, right? There's what we call a payment license, right? There is international money transfer license. There is microfinance banking license. There's commercial banking license. There's digital banking license, right? And none of it has been withdrawn. The only thing that was just clarified was that if you are a payment platform, you are not a deposit money bank. If you are a lender, you are not a microfinance bank. If you are only licensed to provide gateways, then do not position as a commercial bank. So those were just the things that were clarified. And in the real sense of it, it doesn't affect much, because I just don't want to I don't want to pronounce names, because of course they didn't pay you for advertising. So, but I will give example. So if I make a transfer, if you open an app by any of these tech platforms today, it will tell you that you have a wallet account. And in that wallet account, you can receive money. Now, what they do is at times deliberate misinformation. They don't let you know that that wallet account is not necessarily their own account. They are not the owners of that number that they are giving to you. So a lot of times, that number they are giving to you is an account that was opened by a proper bank that was licensed to do it. And when you transfer, you are transferring to that bank. That bank is now holding that money in custody of the tech business that you have opened an account with, right? So in the real sense, in terms of value exchange, transfers, volumes, nothing has changed. It's not going to affect. You know, the only people it will affect are those who have been doing business illegally, right? And not those who have been doing it in the way that they should do it. So, however, should CBN continue to license more? I believe so. Should they continue to encourage more operators in this space? Yes. Should they provide more sandboxes to allow people experiment and properly provide services that would ease transfers, ease payments locally and internationally? I believe so. But should they also still deepen regulation to protect the audience, the Nigerian populace? Fantabulous. I believe that should be done. But so in the real sense of it, there is no difference at all. Nothing has happened. Nothing has changed. And those who do their legitimate business can still go about it the usual way.
Indeed, those who do their legitimate business always win, basically. All right, Mr. Ayo, coming to money transfer now, what would you highlight as the major challenges within this space?
So the major challenge is infrastructure. There is no sufficient backbone infrastructure to ensure reliable, smooth, seamless, and easy transfers happen. You know, number two is the trust deficit. A lot of commercial platforms, individuals, institutions globally do not trust the Nigerian banking system. They do not also trust the Nigerian economy. And as a result, they would place an embargo on transfers or remittances that are either coming from or into Nigeria. And despite CBN, or irrespective of whatever regulation CBN provides, we are still subject to how the international financial system sees us. And if the trust deficit continues to remain, it will continue to affect significantly our ability to seamlessly do business with the international financial system. More importantly, is the capacity of the apex regulator, the CBN, to adequately regulate in a way that increases trust and makes it easy to do business with Nigerians. We all saw the absolute mess that the Nigerian banking system became under Governor Emefiele. And we're still suffering it. And I really hope that the new CBN governor, Mr. Cardoso, is able to gradually and, while gradual, also speedily bounce Nigeria back to its rightful position in the international financial system. So those are the two major factors that come to mind at this time. Infrastructure, of course, affects every other thing in the economy, electricity, reliable internet service providers, etc., etc.
All right. That's very insightful. Thank you so much, Mr. Ayo. Now, what role would you say remittances play in the broad scheme of things with regards to poverty alleviation in the nation?
All right, thanks a lot. So, you see, there's a lot of poverty in this country, right? And while Japa is on the rise and is bad for talent and knowledge deficit in the country because, of course, brain drain and all that, the upside of it is in the global remittances. As a matter of fact, aside crude oil, international remittances by Nigerians abroad back home account for our second largest, remittances, FX remittances. Over $20 billion gets sent into this country by Nigerians, all over in diaspora. And clearly, those monies are going into the pockets of Nigerians, right? To ease poverty, to increase their standard of living, to provide employment, and create jobs, to stimulate businesses and all of that. So if it is difficult for them to remit these monies, clearly it means that people whose lives and livelihood should have improved would not be able to be improved. I remember when I was an undergraduate, my uncle would send me monies over the counter, through one of the global international mobile money transfer platforms. Today, you can no longer receive money through that particular platform in Nigeria. And I can only imagine if I didn't have that opportunity to receive money at that time, maybe I wouldn't have been able to finish my education, and maybe I wouldn't have been able to employ the over 20 people that I employ today, So there is always a ripple effect on all these policies, on the economy, on livelihoods, on income, of Nigerians. So if we're able to, that's just one leg. There is also the global value chain around remittances. There is e-commerce, there is logistics, and so many others that are relying on the ease of remittances, international, local remittances, to fulfill their customer expectations. If you do not provide the ease of these remittances, it means that you are excluding yourself from these global value chains and, reducing your exposure to international trade, right? So it's very crucial that we make remittance easy, seamless, smooth, and efficient, both for Nigerians and for those willing and looking to do business with Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ayo Bankole, and he is the founder and CEO of Caladium Consulting. Thank you very much for joining us on Business Insight.
Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll go on a quick break. When we return, we'll be introducing another guest. Stay with us.
My name is Olatunji Shoti. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Sook News. If you're not watching Sook News, I pity you, but keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timidakolo and you're watching Sook News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Sook News. Guys, keep watching Sook News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, Sook News is your station.
My name is Olatunji Shoti Miri. I'm a performing artist and, television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Sook News. If you're not watching Sook News, I pity you, but keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timidakolo and you're watching Sook News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Sook News. Guys, keep watching Sook News for everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news. Sook News is your station.
Business sustainability, where you have a shortage of liquidity, is not going to kill the sustainability of the business. For business sustainability, where you have insolvency, that business in the state that it is not sustainable. People tend to think that the two are the same, liquidity and solvency. So they believe that if you are illiquid, then you are insolvent. There's nothing further from the truth. In the lifespan of a business, there are periods when the time before they receive money and the time that they need to spend money have a gap in between. And if you do not spend the money, even if you don't have it, maybe it's in receivable, which means people are owing you, you've given them 30 days to pay and it's not yet 30 days. And if you don't spend what you need to spend, you lose an opportunity. So what you do in that instance is to approach a bank and take an overdraft or a loan in order that you can have that money to spend whereas waiting for what you are owed to come back. In this situation, it is assumed that the assets of the business is much more than the liabilities of the business. It's just a temporary need of cash. That is liquidity, and that is the situation of blocking an illiquidity gap. This is very different from solvency and insolvency. When your company is solvent, it's sustainable because
Welcome back. You're still watching Business Insight, and we're discussing remittance and money transfer in microfinance. And we have a guest who is joining us virtually. Yes, yet another guest. It goes by the name Dr. Oshobase Anthony Onogese, and he is a health and development economist as well as a lecturer from the Department of Economics at the University of Lagos. Hello, Mr. Anthony. Okay, our guest is yet to connect, and so let's go on a short break. By the time we come back, we'll have him on ground. Stay with us.
Business is just a temporary need of cash. That is liquidity, and that is a situation of blocking an illiquidity gap. This is very different from solvency and insolvency. When your company is solvent, it's sustainable because the sum total of the assets are more than the sum total of the liabilities. So you may be solvent and have a liquidity shortage. It's not as serious. But when you have a situation of illiquidity, it means that the sum total of your assets are smaller than the sum total of your liabilities. In plain English, the people that owe you in terms of amount is smaller than the people that you owe in terms of amounts, even if you sell everything, in which case, continually putting money into that business will be like pouring water in a basket, because it probably suggests that there is something fundamentally wrong with the business. Maybe the units of economics. Maybe you're producing so consistently at a cost higher than you are selling. Bringing in more money won't help you. PE money, bank money, your own money will not help you. You need to then go and look into the business and fix that fundamental flaw before you then seek to inject liquidity or funds. So when you look at business sustainability, you are protected in a situation of illiquidity if your assets, sum total, is more than your liabilities. On the other hand, if your liabilities is more than your assets, you have insolvency, and there is no point pouring water into a basket. Check whether your business is long-term sustainable, and if not, then fix it before you put in more money.
My name is Olatunji Shoti-Miri. I'm a performing artist and television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Sook News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Sook News. If you're not watching Sook News, I pity you, But keep watching Souk News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timidakolo and you're watching Souk News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souk News. Guys, keep watching Souk News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, Souk News is your station.
Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Marse Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office, shopping centers, travel agencies, restaurants, car parking lots, and a bus terminal. Tafawa Balewa Square is adorned with beautiful statues of white horses and red eagles, symbols of strength and dignity. Our historic neighbors include the King's College and the Holy Cross Cathedral. Tafawa Balewa Square hosted some of the country's memorable events, such as the Independence Day in 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is celebrated annually on January 15. The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafawa Balewa Square, Souk Enlightenment.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souk News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it because this is Souk News.
Shout out to Souk News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souk News. Here's the Souk News who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure.
My name is Olatunji Shoti. I'm a performing artist and television radio presenter and a university lecturer, Unilag. Keep watching Souk News.
Hello everyone, my name is Kenny Black, Africa's finest music comedian, and you're watching Souk News. If you're not watching Souk News, I pity you, but keep watching Souk News.
Hello everyone, my name is Timidakolo and you're watching Souk News. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Wisdom Oluwaseun Okoko, co-founder Orbit Africa Properties. I'm live at Souk News. Guys, keep watching Souk News. For everything that concerns business, economy, politics, news, Souk News is your station.
Welcome back. You're still watching Business Insight. We sincerely apologize for the network issue, and our guest is not showing up, so we'll just go ahead. This microfinance institutions basically enable individuals to transfer money to their loved ones, whether they are in the same country or abroad. They also provide secure channels for remittances and ensure that funds reach their intended recipients efficiently and at a reasonable cost. Okay, we have virtually another guest by the name Mr. Gbolahan. Good morning, Mr. Gbolahan. Welcome to Business Insight.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for... All right, we appreciate you for joining on the show at such short notice. Now, Mr. Gbolahan, what would you say is the economic impact of remittances and money transfer in Nigeria? How has it helped in the development of the nation economically?
It's a huge part of our financial inclusion. Financial inclusion focuses on bringing people who otherwise might not have been in the financial services into the web. So it has a huge role to play in that. So you see children sending money to their parents, friends sending money to friends, and all of that. But beyond that, it's also the fact that businesses is enabled by payments. You can imagine what things will have been like if in the days when we were having the cash problem in December into around March, thereabout, if there were no transfer platforms, if people could not get transfers done on all these payment platforms that we're talking about, the nation will actually have halted economically. Everything will come to zero. It will collapse, actually. You know, so it was those payment platforms that helped us to be able to navigate properly that particular season when there was no cash available in the system. So from financial inclusion to trading to making transaction possible, these institutions have come a long way, and they have enabled the system to function properly.
All right, Mr. Gbolahan. Now, what would you say are the potential risks and challenges associated with reliance on remittances as a source of income for microfinance borrowers? I mean, sometime this year, there was the issue of the CBN shutting down some microfinance banks. So what are the risks, you know, posed on people who actually borrow from microfinance banks, basically?
Well, shutting down microfinance bank for not meeting the regulatory expectation is within the powers of the CBN to do so, because once they reach that level, they constitute a risk, a financial risk into the system, and they must be weeded out of the system. There is no advantage to having such institutions within the system. What we need are those ones that are vibrant. So if the ones that are too weak to survive are taken out, the expectation is that there will be new ones that will replace them, so that the functions that these institutions provide could be provided via these new institutions and not the one that is already weak and constitute a risk to the system. So it was in order that those ones be let out of the system and new ones be encouraged to replace them, that existing ones be encouraged to do more business. If there is need for recapitalization, let's also go there. We can drive, the CBN can drive recapitalization to the kind of level that it believes will meet the needs that these institutions were meant to serve within the economy. But as far those weak ones that are not able to meet their regulatory expectations, it is better for the system that they are let go.
policies do you advise to be implemented to ensure transparency and security when it comes to money transfer in this sector?
Well, there's a role of the regulator in the microfinance area. The part of the role of the regulator is to have to interrogate the platform in itself, to be sure that the platform is secured so that people, extraneous people, cannot have access into the system and do funny stuff with the people's money. And this is very, very, very important. Now, if we're not able to assure that, then there is a problem, because what it means is that there is a financial risk to the system, and depositors could lose their money, or people who are transacting on those platforms could lose their money. So the regulatory framework around assuring the quality, the transparency, and the security of those platforms is a primary role for the regulators to assure.
All right. So now what would you say is the role of technology, such as mobile banking or blockchains? What roles does technology basically play in ensuring the efficiency of money transfer and remittance?
Technology simply democratizes access. It gives access to everybody that will lay hands on any of those technology platforms, including even the basic phones. I'm not even talking of smartphones now, because there are transactions now that could be done with a very basic phone. So the role of technology is to democratize access, to make everybody that could lay hands on any piece of technology to be able to do transactions. You know, and we have come a long way in this country as far as that is concerned. From the days of the tally number to real-time online banking to the fintechs and the kind of thing that some of the more nimble technology platforms, especially payment platforms, have done in this country. I don't want to mention brand names of some of those institutions, but we have come a long way.
All right. Now, on a final note, Mr. Gbolahan, just give us your final thoughts, and also tell us what you think the government can do to make this sector better for the benefit of Nigerians generally, especially small business owners.
Okay, it is important that this sector, because this sector attends to customer segment that the bigger banks are not able to handle. If we have agreed that this segment that they attend to, the MSME especially, that they're very critical to economic development, then the government must step into that space and ensure that these institutions can fulfill this role, especially via creating the right regulatory framework, not the one that will choke them. At the same time, not the one that is so loose that they will create a financial risk onto the system. But finding that delicate balance that enables them to thrive and deliver on their mandate for economic development without also moving too far away from them and allowing them to abuse the process. We have seen, for example, how some of the payday loan platforms have constituted some sort of abuse onto the system by violating privacy issues of individual customers that have approached or done businesses with them. So it is in the space of regulation, the right regulatory framework, that government can incentivize and at the same time drive sanity and security within that space.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gbolahan, for joining us on Business Insight. Do have a wonderful day.
And you too.
All right, and with that, we call it a day on Business Insight. Many thanks for joining us despite the network issues we had earlier. We are grateful that you stayed till the end on the show, and we hope you've been able to get some insight into remittance and money transfer through microfinance banks. Thank you very much for staying. I'm Adesua Iramosele, and I'll see you again tomorrow for an even more insightful session. Good morning.